Well, big news coming in as far as the ongoing ASEAN summit in Kuala Lumpur is concerned. The Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, is not visiting Kuala Lumpur, but he will be addressing the summit virtually anytime between 3:15 to 3:30 p.m. this afternoon. That's approximately 3 hours 15 minutes from now. Prime Minister Modi will be attending the summit virtually to make his address. The External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, will be representing India in Malaysia for the ongoing summit. And of course, the summit will also witness India's continued engagement with the regional bloc, though Prime Minister Modi himself will not be present there in person. He will be addressing the summit virtually between 3:15 to 3:30 p.m. later today. Let me go across to Rishabh for more on this. Rishabh, the Prime Minister is not in Kuala Lumpur. India is being represented by Dr. S. Jaishankar, our External Affairs Minister. He has, of course, a series of appointments lined up in terms of bilateral discussions and multilateral discussions that he'll take forward. But what can we expect the Prime Minister to say in that 15-minute intervention? While he's not there physically, he was in Laos the previous year for the ASEAN summit. He's not in Kuala Lumpur this time. But what can we expect him to address when he speaks at 3:15?
Well, Siddharth, since 2022, India has been very much there for the ASEAN summits. We saw Prime Minister even going for ASEAN summit 4 days ahead of the G20 that India was hosting in 2023 in Indonesia. Then Prime Minister was in Laos last year as well, where he spoke at Wenchang venue and spoke about India-ASEAN relationship, India's Act East policy. This time around, Prime Minister was scheduled to be in Kuala Lumpur, but due to some domestic reasons as well as for the availability issue, he is not in Kuala Lumpur, but he will be addressing the ASEAN-India forum today, where we'll have the leaders from the ASEAN countries, the 10 ASEAN countries, and External Affairs Minister representing India at that summit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to talk about the investments, the DPI, direct public infrastructure is something, digital public infrastructure is something that India and ASEAN have been talking about. India, Laos, India, Thailand, India, Malaysia, India, Singapore, they have been working on how the BHIM app, the UPI system can be extended to these countries. So that will be one important issue. Apart from that, the regional issues. Myanmar remains the elephant in the room for ASEAN as well as China for that matter. So India would be weighing in on that as well as what we are given to understand. So Myanmar, China, South China Sea, free movement in the region, and the DPI is something that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to speak upon. He'll be joining the summit virtually. India will be, Indian delegation is being chaired by External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, but Prime Minister will be addressing it virtually. We know that Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar as well as Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi did speak on phone last Sunday, and it was then clarified that Prime Minister would not be travelling to Malaysia, but would be joining in the summit virtually. So all eyes now on what India says, because definitely India and its Act East policy, which is now in its 10th year, would be at the focal point, and all eyes on the address that Prime Minister would be making, because that will chart the future of India-ASEAN relationship.
And Rishabh, not just that, of course, the Prime Minister will be making that intervention at 3:15. The last time round when he was in Laos, he did say that bilateral trade between India and ASEAN countries collectively had reached the $130 billion mark. Of course, there's potential for that to be expanded a whole lot more, and that can be expected to be the thrust of at least the intervention that he makes at 3:15 when he speaks. But trade apart, what are some of the other issues that he might touch upon? Will he also be talking about some of the global conflicts, or is that not something that is necessarily relevant to the regional bloc that is ASEAN?
Well, when it comes to ASEAN, ASEAN is always very, very important to India, apart from trade as well. And as I was just putting it in my first answer, that how South China Sea becomes an important part of India's intervention when it comes to ASEAN. The sovereignty, many countries have have their internal issues, be it Cambodia and Thailand, or for that matter, Myanmar have issues with Thailand. Vietnam, Laos, and Thailand and Cambodia also have their issues.
Yes.
All this will definitely be something that Prime Minister might touch upon. Tariff is something that definitely will come to discussion. That is something, be it Laos, be it Myanmar, be it Thailand. They all have been, have been affected by the tariff from Washington. That is something that will definitely be discussed upon. But something that is very, very important, and whenever there is ASEAN-India talk, we keep going back to that one point, is that trade. India is very clear that Southeast Asia and India's relationship goes centuries old. Even before the medieval period, before the Mughals came to India, India's ASEAN relationship has been there. The South Asia has been an important part for our South Indian industries as well. So that is something that will definitely be part of it, historically, geographically.
Absolutely, Rishabh. Shared ties, shared civilizational ties and expanding trade ties, a whole lot of things that will be discussed. We'll wait and see as to what the Prime Minister has to say when he starts speaking virtually at 3:15 p.m. for the ASEAN Summit. Thanks for that detail that you provided us, Rishabh. We'll turn our attention now to what's been happening here in India, specifically in the state of Karnataka.